Good morning to everyone who's joining us. Thank you so much for being part of our Wednesday Connect. We're very excited to have you here. This is a new-ish series that we've established to have a place to get together on a weekly basis to connect, engage, and of course, learn something new. So we always feature interesting and wonderful speakers to tell us a little bit about something that we definitely should know. And today's speaker is Jetta Russell. She'll be talking about home safety in your home. And we're very excited to have her here. Last week, of course, if some of you joined us, we had somebody talking to us about it was how to exercise and safely do some moves at your home to help with balance, fall prevention, those sort of things. So now this is definitely a complementary follow-up with that. So we're excited to have you all here. A reminder that, of course, we offer weekly, daily virtual classes for free via the community center, and you can find all those listings on our website, which is www.ljcommunitycenter.org. So it's my pleasure again to have Jetta Russell here, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her. I know she'll tell you more also about Erica in just a bit. So Jetta has spent decades in healthcare and senior living before joining Live Home in 2019. In her last role, Jetta served 13 communities with Westmont Senior Living in California and Oregon. She has also worked in medical health care for companies such as Prudential and Health South. Jetta has her RCFE California license for senior living and has had that for a number of years, as well as has been an owner and operator in senior housing. She is married to an extraordinary man, is a mother of 2 sons, and has 2 granddaughters. So help me welcome Jetta Russell.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate being here, everyone. Listen, thanks so much, Nancy, for having us. And I do have Erica on board, and it's really nice to have her. I do want to start out by saying this presentation is normally done live. It's very effective, but it's also going to be quite useful for all of us. It's actually checkoff slips. It's very easy for safety in the home. It allows you to do visual walks and things like that throughout your home. And they're good reminders, and it's all about prevention, because I know how independent you guys all are. And I know you like your classes live. I know all the movement classes and dancing and all the fun activities that you guys do at the center, because sometimes we've been fortunate enough to be sponsors. So today we are going to go down the list. And at the very end, Erica Sells, who is an owner of Harmony Home Medical, she's going to provide you guys an extra surprise, and you can chime in on that through a little bit of follow-up, and I'll leave that for her, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go to the first slide. There we go. Can everyone see us now?
Yes.
Okay. So the topics that we're going to go over, and again, this is a really great live presentation as well, because I'm actually walking around. I'm walking through door jams, things like that, but we'll do our best today. But we're going to go over the top 10 safety tips for us. Being a mom and being a grandmother, I'm one of the older adults, so I'm always, aware of what's happening in my environment, as you guys all are. Fall prevention, and then most of, believe it or not, most of the accidents that we have happen in our homes. So we're going to do a room-by-room safety, and I'll talk about that. And again, this format is normally printed out, and we can get that to you, and it's checkoff lists, so you can walk through your home, and we'll do that room by room. And then we can have a discussion to see what makes sense at the end. Some people may have particular questions about your current living situation. And again, we have Erica here with Home Harmony Medical. Okay. So fall prevention and safety for older adult safety's checkoff list. So as we start off, we have the common sense. There's the little lines here past the numbers are allowing you to check those off. So do we have clear paths around our home? Do we need to install any rails or grab bars? Grab bars are great for bathrooms, because unfortunately, a lot of our falls do happen on wet surfaces. Are we, and these are some things that are going to be a little bit outside the box, which I think are great, and it'll be kind of, and no pun on words, an eye opener, but improve your vision through routine eye exams. And this is a huge one. It really makes a difference for me. It's adequate lighting. So, like right now, I'm in my family room and I have all the overhead lights on. Although I have a lot of light coming in through my windows, and sometimes I do that during the day, and that does actually improve my eyesight, especially if I want to read something that's a smaller font. Okay, and then how do we prevent slip, falls? I wouldn't recommend loose throw rugs in areas, especially high traffic areas. If you have them, that's a number one fall risk. I would remove them. What type of shoes are we wearing? Are we wearing non-slick, non-stick? Heavy shoes may be unsafe as well. They'll cause you to trip as you lift your foot. Check equipment and furniture for condition and stability. And then number 5 is the 4 R's. Are we reorganizing all the time? Picking up. Are we remodeling? Are we rearranging? Are we removing for injury prevention, for general safety, and also for energy, being conservative. Now we're going to go through the same checkoff list, and it is 6 through 10. And that is going to be, do we have adequate equipment for safety, mobility, and tasks throughout the home? So I'm very short, and my cabinets are tall, my upper cabinets, and I know that Erica has these in her business, and it's the grabbers and reachers, and sometimes those are safe. We don't want to be getting on tiptoes. We don't want to be scaling our cabinets. Yes, I've been guilty of doing that. And then, of course, we're going to trip and fall and have an injury, which isn't good. Something I want to preface also is a lot of us who are in our age group here that are on today, we live alone. So, it isn't like we've got 2 or 3 kids at home. Some of us may or may have our spouses, our partners, but we don't necessarily always have that. So again, the safety is all about prevention and being aware. Some of us are using some aids to improve balance and safety and fall prevention. A cane, some other types of aids, which are helpful. That also helps, of course, which we don't realize, with body mechanics and allowing us to be in a postured position where we will be able to be upright and keep our walk ranges, the length that we can walk, longer, and be in a healthier state for a musculoskeletal body for a much greater time in our life. And that's very important on those aids. Do we need to schedule a physical therapy evaluation? Do you feel a little weak in your lower limbs? Are you having any problems reaching with your rotator cuff? That's in the shoulder area. Prevention is the key here. I would be throwing my arm up right now, showing you different movements that are, the way we want to swing up versus swing out. And there's exercises and things, and there's, going through your doctor, you have those covered, and we want to get in there before there's a serious injury. One thing is very important is a home safety assessment, especially if there's any potential to a fall risk. You, again, go through your physician and monitor your fitness program by a licensed professional. Begin a medical emergency preventative steps. So there's 3 bulleted points under number 9. Have we installed an audio or visual monitoring system if needed in the house? Everybody should have emergency preparation kits. They should be planned, posted, and practiced. Please do this once a month. Sometimes our kits get depleted, but please, I would recommend once a month. This is something you can choose to do. In California, there is a huge push for what's called the pulsed. And in California, our first responders, whether they be EMTs or paramedics or firefighters, they love to see a post on a refrigerator. They will look there to see if you have any allergic reactions to medications. They can see your medication list. They have your primary contact numbers. It be your spouse, an adult child. Um, living alone, I would highly recommend this for pretty much anyone. Again, this is a huge one, is the pulse. If you guys have any questions, I'll be leaving you with my contact information. I'll be happy to help you. Following the general safety guidelines for your home regarding fire, security, and maintenance, I think that's common sense, but we want to make sure that we don't have any shorts. You know, if you have an outlet that's sparking or arcing, that's not good. If you have a gas stove and it's acting up, shut it down. Use the microwave for a little bit, but it's all about getting in front of an event, an incident.
Jetta?
Yes.
I know that you mentioned this earlier, but there's a few people who joined us after, and this checklist will be made available to people. We'll be able to either mail it or email that.
Yes. Yes, I can email this to anyone. I'm happy to do so. It's a very short slideshow. I actually had emailed it, of course, in case we had technical difficulty, to Nancy and Erica, but I can email it to anyone. If someone does not have access to print out or they don't want to go to a print center, I will be happy to print it out and mail it to your home. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide, and if anybody has any questions while I'm on the slide, if it's pertaining to the specific slide, I'm happy to answer any questions, but we'll definitely have an answer and question and answer session at the end. Fall prevention, let's see. We're going to go now. This is probably the most important piece of this, I'm going to say share, exchange. If I share anything with you, this is the most important thing. And it's only as good as if you want to use it. If you utilize this, even if you do it 3 times a year, I would strongly encourage you to do it once a month. It will also give you peace of mind knowing that you've done these steps. You'll feel good about being in your home. You'll feel safe. And that's important. So every home is configured differently. Obviously, we have apartments, we have condominiums, we have modular homes, we have a traditional home. But this particular checkoff list is made to, it can be modified very easily. You know, if you have multiple bedrooms and you want a checkoff list for all the bedrooms, you can just have additional sheets, that type of thing. So we're going to start out with the entrance and exits and hallways and stairs. Lots of stuff happen when you go through a door jamb. I'm just going to, there is a threshold change sometimes before we even get on this list. The ground that you're walking on, it will change when you go through a doorway, when you go off of a sidewalk onto a porch, when you're entering a hallway. It's as easy as just, again, going through a doorway, and you don't even have a floor change as far as a hardwood floor versus a carpeted floor. Sometimes some of us will have a carpeted floor and go in what's called a wet area, which we would consider traditionally a hard flooring. Nowadays, a lot of times it's stone, travertine tile, but a lot of us still have linoleum, but we're going from a hallway into a wet area, which we consider a kitchen typically, or a bathroom, or a washroom, a laundry room. So do we have clear paths? Are we having no trips and slip hazards? Are the floor repairing and stairs in good order? Are the rails on the stairways, are they in good order? You know, they're not loose. And definitely, if you do not have a rail on an open staircase, I would highly recommend one. And they're very easily installed. You can have someone do that for you, and it's quite inexpensive. You really do never want to go up or down a staircase without a rail. Is everything clean and removed? Okay. One thing I have to work on, and this is a true confession, I have a very bad habit. I have an extra wide staircase, and I tend to put a few things at the bottom of the stairs sometimes because I don't want to go up and down the stairs all day long. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. That's a fall risk. And then not so much for San Diego, but I do put this on here because sometimes we have folks in outlying areas, in Alpine. Sometimes we have folks, hazards. We don't have snow or none of that or ice, but we do have wet. And the problem with wet in San Diego, wet surfaces, as if you are still driving, we don't get rain for 9 months, and then we drive on the freeways, and it's just, it's oil because of the debris. Well, that same thing happens in walkways and things. If things have not been washed out or wet, we don't get rain very often, and then we do get it. We're not used to walking on wet surfaces, and then all of a sudden, boom. So, are those walking areas in good condition? Are doors and screens easy to open and close? I do this visually. I purposely take a door and I have it catch. I can't do it today. Huge fall risk on that. That will completely trip up your gait and slope. And those are the things that gait and slope are terms that we use when we move, when we're moving. So if you have any doorways that are sticking or flying open on you or slamming quickly behind you for whatever reason, sometimes those are fire doors, doors that are weighted. If they're in your home, please have the hinge and the return mechanism oiled and properly repaired so that you're safe and comfortable going through those. Again, I cannot stress lighting. And if you have an unusual step up or change in flooring, sometimes it's good to put a color strip down as long as you're not going to trip on it. So make sure that that's installed by a professional. Don't try to do anything yourself. I would highly recommend going through a professional. Again, on a visual, I can kind of show you on the rails. Again, those should be approximately 34 inches, and then diameter is 1.5. That's comfortable. If you're extremely short, and you're having someone put the rail in, you can have them actually lower it. A professional would know how to do that. Some of this stuff is a repeat from the 10 top fall prevention risk. Again, get those area throw rugs as a no-no. If you especially we tend to keep them at doorways and things where we wipe off wet shoes, and wet surfaces again is a challenge. This is one that's a little hard to explain, number 7, unless you can visually see it, but steps should be, the riser is the piece that goes up and down the stairs, is about 7.5 inches, and the width is the depth of it. It's not the width of your staircase, but it's the depth of it should be where your foot settles on the next step. We're looking at a foot. Remove all clutter from stairs, and that's Jetta's area that I need to work on, and I do work on it. Add rails to at least one or both sides of stairs. Again, adequate lighting. And then also at the top of stairs, when you lift off of a staircase, and people don't realize it, and you go on to a flat platform surface like a floor, that's where a lot of people fall, and they fall going up. So be very conscious of when you're taking that last step off the stairs and landing onto and putting all your body weight and lifting off of those stairs onto a platform surface, which is your second floor. It isn't always going down the stairs. Sometimes it's going up, okay? All right, the main living area. So for some of those, we live in our family rooms. We have a living room that we have on occasion when we have guests. Some of us have great rooms where we just see everybody every day in our living area. So this is huge. Do we have furniture that doesn't need to be in there? Are we stacking some things in the corner? Unused furniture is definitely a tripping hazard. We want to make sure our furniture is in a clear, our furniture is arranged to have very wide, clear pathways. If we don't, not ourselves, but have someone help us rearrange furniture in such a way that it's aesthetically pleasing, functional for us to watch the TV and read by a window, but make sure that we're safe as well. We forget sometimes that safety for us, for all of us that are our age, that are parents and grandparents, and hopefully some of us get to be fortunate enough to be great grandparents, that's a factor when we're decorating and arranging our furniture in our homes. Change the heights of surfaces for getting up and down easier. That's more of a visual. Again, I mentioned I'm short. As some of us get older, we tend to get shorter. Our reaches tend to get quite different. They're not as, our reach is not as large as it was for pulling and our strength to pull. So be aware of that and make those adjustments. This is a huge one. I haven't mentioned it yet, but with those rugs, we want no electrical cords anywhere. We want them tucked against the walls with the furniture. And again, of course, we want to maintain good furniture quality, as far as we don't want a loose handle arm rail on a chair, for example, and then we get up and it might turn on us and cause us to fall. Please do not place cords under rugs. Have them up against and installed by outlets, flush up against the wall. It's something that may not be on here. I've done this presentations many times in the past, but it is very unsafe to have your furniture up against your wall. It will cause it to shift and move. So when you walk into my house, you'll notice that all of my furniture is a couple inches away from the wall. As we're talking about furniture in general, I want to give you that tip. It's very important, so that if you do sit down, there's some movement, you won't get bounce back. You won't get reverberation from the wall. Should the chair move, it's got some give. Typically it's chairs so much. It's hard chairs. It's not necessarily the heavy upholstered Bacco loungers or sofas. Remove this. Some of this is common sense, but if we're going through our homes and doing this on whatever regular basis we choose that we're comfortable with, I would have a method to your madness, so to speak. I would make a schedule to do it, every 3 months if you want to be really on top of it, every month, but at least twice a year. Is remember that remove any of those unused appliances, and what, are we using the ceiling fan? Is it just sitting there? Again, clutter, use cordless phones when possible. Most of us now are on cell phones. We do have some of us still have landlines, but those are flush, usually against the wall or sitting on a countertop. Never use adapters or electrical cords or extension for a permanent amount of time. And I know why. We all know why. They were never coated or made to do that, and so they will overheat, and they'll arc and spark, and that's very dangerous. Okay. Room by room maintenance. We all have kitchens or some type of kitchen, and there are new types of electrical circuit. They're the GFICs, and some of the older homes don't have them, but they are safe and they reduce the risk of electrical shock. And so we never want to overload our outlets. Our older homes, which many of us do still live in, may not have as many electrical outlets in the kitchen. Just unplug and replug. I wouldn't plug everything up all the time. It can cause, and it can cause your fuses and all that to overload as well, and can cause it to pop, and you can have, you're resetting the fuse box. That's not good either. Obviously, these are common sense things, but having the walks on a continuous basis help us. Installing those smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors in appropriate places, and then always having a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. One thing I have in my kitchen, I'm looking at it right now, it's over my stove, and I've always have, is I have 2 pot holders. So if something happens and I try to grab something really fast, I have them actually right above my microwave. They're very easy for me to get to, and I always have them there. And I learned that a long time ago when I was a little girl. So just making sure we have the proper equipment. Again, those fire extinguishers, again, in kitchens can be lifesavers if you have a grease fire or something. Again, those throw rugs, they keep coming up. But again, in the kitchen, if you have a spill, don't keep cooking. Take that half a minute and wipe up those spills. This is really important. You know, we get so happy that we go down and we polish those floors and things. I had this happen on our outside concrete. We have the stamped concrete, and my husband did a sealant on it, and boom, I went. So again, that can happen indoors as well. You know, be aware when we polish our floors what we're using, because it can get quite slippery. But it looks pretty and shiny, but is it necessarily as safe as we'd like? Keep items within reach. I kind of use the pot holders as an example. If you have to use a step stool, again, if you have to use a step stool, try to keep things within reach. Make sure it's safe and that it's flush up against something, it's not wobbling. Really avoid ladders at any cost. I would personally, I wouldn't get up on a ladder, not even the first run, unless I had another person spotting me. Use proper safety equipment in the kitchen. You know, never leave the kitchen, never leave a kitchen while you're cooking. You know, loose clothing, those are barbecues, and, you know, stove tops, oven when you reach. You know, those really pretty fluttery type of tops, you know, they hang down over our arms or we're loose. Not so, they're dangerous, so we don't want to have that. And open flames, things like that, hot surfaces, more of a barbecue. If you guys are still doing that, just be very aware of what's happening and keep everything clear of the pathway. You know, never leave paper products. I think that's a given, you know, within 3 feet of a hot surface. Always have the right equipment. You know, prior to doing anything, have your mittens out, your hot gloves out, you know, to prevent any kind of burns. And I like the automatic shut-off appliances. I like it for my curling iron, actually, and my things like that, and even in the bathroom. So anytime you can get that, great. You can use a timer, but I'll tell you, most days you can find these appliances that do that, and they're a great safety feature. Never make a, and this is just, you know, if you have cabinets, don't ever get in the habit of storing too many things above it, because you never know when you think the oven's not hot, or actually the range top's not hot, and you end up burning yourself by reaching. Always use proper lighting. It's wrapping up. You know, color code strips for specific items if your vision is a little diminished. Always make sure medications are stored away and locked. Small children, you just never know if we have pets. And of course, you know, use those safety proof tops, or those tray. If you're going to use a tray pill box, you know, make sure that's out of the way, and good too, so that we don't grab them and they spill. So just really be aware when we're working with our medicine. Bathrooms. Install any grab bars. One thing that people do that is really dangerous is if they start to trip or fall, they grab the towel bar that holds the towels. And those don't hold our bodies, their body weight typically. And that's when a lot of things happened. Keep the area around your toilet clear. Don't have any clutter. Again, those rugs are coming up. And again, be very safe with those. You know, use non-slick materials in the bath enclosure and tub. This is huge. If you at all possible, go out and spend some money on having your liquid soap, your bar soap, but mainly your liquid dispensed soaps if you're using liquid soap and hair products. If you can attach them to the wall, because if you're bending down and reaching while you're wet, that's when a lot of falls occur. Use adaptive equipment in the bathroom. If you need to use an elevated toilet seat or a bath bench. You know, bathing is fun, but you have to be careful. And additional items, you know, handheld showers are really nice. And then again, you can even have grab bars inside the showers. It can also have a long handled sponge. I have a brush I use, a long handle, and I love it. And I don't have to bend down to get it. So I have it up against on a wall. Always keep things in with reach. You know, again, with your outlets, be very aware of what's going on. Use the grounded outlets in your bathroom. Never, ever, ever have small appliances or electrical devices near the water. Again, your medications, have those stored out of reach for children or anybody else that may not need to get into them. Some of our older homes have those wall space heaters that heat up the bathrooms. Be very aware of that. You want to not be anywhere near those when they heat up. Some of them are still the old coils. If you have those, I would recommend maybe having something else done, but definitely have those checked out on a regular basis on those older type of setups for the bathrooms with the heater. Master bedroom. We all have our bedroom that we sleep in. So again, clear the path. Look at your furniture. Don't look at your furniture just as a design for aesthetics and practical use, but also for safety. Again, rugs, coils, we already talked about those. This is another one. Keep the telephone or cell phone near a reach in case there's an emergency. And always keep flashlights and batteries in your nightstand or near your bed. And this is huge. If you do have firearms in your home, they have to be safely stored, and lock all firearms and store ammunition separately. There's many places. There are some gun ranges in town, and there's also the San Diego Alzheimer's Association. I know personally that will give out free gun trigger locks, so you can lock down the guns if you want those locked, and that will prevent any of the safety hazards from happening, because that would be a serious nature. Consider safety devices. Do you need a bed rail, gate devices? I don't know for many of you, because I think most of you guys are pretty well intact, but there are balance bars too that go from floor to ceiling, and those are nice as well for some folks that need it. And then use as many remotes as you can. When we're sleepy and tired and groggy, that's sometimes where we aren't on our best game. Be very aware of how you get in and out of your bed. I can't share with you, in all the years I was in senior housing, we had our beautiful residents get caught up in their sheets. And that's not good. I've even done it. So, and then kind of slip and fall and twist, and then you don't want to hit the nightstand or hit the lamp, so on and so forth. Heating pads. This is huge. If you are using a heating pad, just use it for the time. I would never sleep with a heating pad. Use it for a short period of time. But remember, if you have applied an oil, a tropical oil or a cream to your skin, and you put a heating pad on it, it will burn. And it doesn't even have to be that hot. I encourage you to use a regular weather device to know the weather. We don't get that much severe weather in San Diego, but if you are still driving and you don't like to drive in the rain, and it's the spring and winter, it's something nice to have those weather conditions right at your fingertips. That's it. We've gone through most of it. I didn't introduce myself so much as what I'm doing today, but I do want to take that opportunity to thank everyone. I am with Live Home. I'm a care consultant with Live Home. We offer care management, which is anything maybe a family member would help their mom or dad or aunt or brother or sister with, or a spouse, but they're also professionals. And we also offer in-home care. From just a little few things, companionship, driving, to full care. So I know most of you are pretty independent, but if you know a neighbor, someone in your church, a family member, they're welcome to call me at any time, and I'm happy to help. My guest today is kept pretty quiet till the end here, and it's a really fun surprise. I'll let her speak for a few minutes. Again, I want to thank everyone, and I'll let Erica take over. And again, I'll be available. Nancy also has my contact information as well. And I want to thank Nancy, but I want to turn this over to Erica.
Thank you, Jetta, and thank you for all that great information. Our services, so you can see on the screen here, just a flyer that we made for the La Jolla Community Center folks. And this can also be for your neighbors, friends, just as Jetta had mentioned. But what Harmony Home Medical does is works with people in their homes to make sure they have all these safety measures in place, from modifications to simple pieces of equipment. We do the whole spectrum. And so as we're starting to consider what we need to stay at home, it might not be, a walker or a wheelchair or anything that's too big or grand in the mobility world, but we might want to just start to look at our key spots, our key transfer spots when we enter the home, our favorite sofa, chair, our bed. And there are pretty low profile safety tools that you can add into these places. And one of the things that starts to change for us that we don't hardly notice is our vision. A lot of times it can be kind of progressive, can start to narrow our peripheral vision. So doing these things early and ahead of time is really important. And it can be all done aesthetically and integrate with your home. So, so I am an ATP and a certified aging in place specialist. ATP is assistive technology professional. I spec out custom wheelchairs. But I myself and my partner Adam are offering the free home safety evaluation to come out to people's homes and help with the checklist to make sure that everything is in order and safe, and get a separate set of eyes, because you get used to seeing your spaces and you may not see something that a professional who works in this field every day does. So I wanted to offer that to everybody, and feel free to call us with simple questions or come take a field trip to the store. It's very show and tell. I designed it to be educational and be experiential more than just, I don't know, salesy or warehousey. It's kind of how our industry was prior to Harmony Home Medical. So that's our intention, and that's who we are, and we'd love to help you in the journey of aging in place.
Listen, I do want to just add to Erica's piece that how much is this normal home evaluation, Erica?
It's usually $125 for us to go out and spend the hour.
So I would really strongly encourage you guys to take advantage of this based on, the list that I was able to share with you today. And if I will let you know that there are things in her store that I would use in my home. It's stuff to make life a lot easier, at a very easy way to get things done. There's just small little adaptive things that really help. Again, I am short, so, that's my piece. Does anybody have any questions or anything at this time?
Right. Thank you both so much for joining us. If anyone has any questions regarding any of the tips that Jetta talked about, or the assessment that Erica can do in your home, you're welcome to unmute yourself or use the chat option at the bottom. They're here now, so, and there's time. So if anyone has a question, please feel free to unmute and ask away while we have them here. So we'll give it a few, and if I don't see anyone, oh, someone's raising their, Glenn? You're muted, so you have to unmute yourself.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Do you make custom handrails, like for steps that exist in the house that has made handrails?
Yes, we do. So we do custom handrails. We can do them on stairs. We can do them around wall bends, curves in the wall, and we can do them freestanding or wall mounted.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Ruth, did you have a question?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, and I just want to thank the two of them for coming and giving this excellent presentation. And a few years ago, I heard another presentation, and I picked up all my loose carpets. So, yeah, I had a lot of them, yeah, little ones. So this is very, very important. And thank you so much for all you do, and also helping seniors is just wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add one little thing in case I don't talk to some of the people that may be on here down the road? One thing that kind of breaks my heart, I always feel bad that we didn't cross paths sooner for my clients, is when they come in the store and they had just had their bathroom remodeled for accessibility, and they had taken their tub and instead they put in a shower with a small lip. And they're coming in to see us because now they're looking for a solution to get over the lip. They're looking to put a ramp or something. Doing that is not an accessible solution. So when you're doing a bathroom model, if you're changing your tub out, it does not cost more to do it. I mean, maybe $500. It is not a huge difference, and it'll save you so much difficulty for the whole trajectory of life if you just do it zero transition out the gate. That's something that I saw probably 4 times last year, and there's not good solutions for ramping into a shower. There just aren't. You want a zero transition shower out the gate. So if you are ever considering that change in your home, make sure to ask the contractor to be doing it that way. Just wanted to share.
Wonderful, thank you. And to all the participants, I'll be emailing out those worksheets and both Jetta and Erica's contact information, so you can ask them anything that you maybe didn't have the opportunity to do so now, or if you want to share their information with a friend or neighbor or family member, please feel free to do so as well. Thank you both for sharing that information with us. Of course, it's extremely valuable for us to know all of this. So thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us, and hope to see you all again soon, and stay well.
Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, everybody. Feel free to contact me. I'm a resource. Bye-bye.